Back at Texas Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys lead the Atlanta Falcons 21-13, with Dallas scoring 14 points in a 22-second span before the end of the first half. Turnovers have been a big factor of this ball game, Dan.
Yeah, they've led to 17 points for both of the clubs. 10 for Atlanta on Dallas Air, 7 for the Cowboys, but that's 7 for the Cowboys on Dave Archer's fumble. The Atlanta Falcons had the opportunity to go in at halftime trailing by only one, 14-13, 21-13, big difference.
Interestingly enough, Danny White, who was questionable coming into this ball game with the pulled thigh muscle, has looked awfully sharp, and Archer has been struggling, and of course a lot of the credit goes to the Dallas defense.
Well, they've made a lot of quarterbacks look bad, but now the big task for the Atlanta Falcons is going to be coming from behind, not only at home against the Dallas Cowboys in their own stadium, but against the Heat. It is so hot down on that field. We've got a thermometer, and folks, that's all the farther it goes. That's up to 130 degrees down on the field, and when you got to play come from behind football in those kind of conditions, that's oppressive to say the least. It's going to be tough for Atlanta.
Well, Dan Henning said we got to keep running. Even if the running doesn't work, we have to keep going. So look for Mr. Riggs, even in the heat, to go to work in the second half to try to bring the Falcons back. And CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue. The all-new trucks from Mitsubishi. Quaker State, the big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. And by GTE. GTE. Dick Stockton and Dan Deerdorf back at Texas Stadium, and Rafael Septien will be kicking off starting the second half, to Keith Williams on the right and Sylvester Stamps on the left, as the Falcons trail 21-13. Underway. Stamps 2 yards in the end zone. Hit hard at the 26-yard line by Everson Walls.
I know that Dan Henning must take a deep breath every time Sylvester Stamps brings back a kickoff. He fumbled 3 times during the preseason. And how about this? 52-9 when the Cowboys lead at halftime. The Falcons certainly going against the odds.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line, and David Archer has struggled so far, completing just 6 of 15 passes for 60 yards. Gerald Riggs is the running back. Wisenhunt, the H-back in motion. Riggs with a fine start. Carries it past the 40-yard line, and a first down. Gain of 17. Bill Bates makes the stop.
The best Atlanta offensive lineman is their left tackle, Mike Ken, and Bill Fralick that time comes around on the fold block. Look how he picks off Eugene Lockhart, puts him on the ground. Gerald Riggs, the beneficiary of some fine blocking, picks up an Atlanta first down. And if they're going to get back in this football game, I think it's going to be on the ground. Bill Fralick, all man.
On first down, Archer will go to the air. Ducks under and is down. 3rd sack. John Dutton with his first of the afternoon, and that time the offensive line did not do the job.
That time John Dutton working right against Bill Fralick. Here's Fralick, 79. Here's John Dutton. He's going to come upfield, take it inside, and he's going to split both Fralick and Radloff off the center. John Dutton, who's not known as a ferocious pass rusher, is going to get back to the inside. Rather, that's Gerald Riggs, not Radloff. Radloff worked to the other side, but still beats 2 people, and John Dutton gets the sack.
So Dutton comes out of the ball game, 35 years old, playing in his 100th game in a Dallas Cowboy uniform today. It'll be 2nd and 15 on the 36. On the draw, Sylvester Stamps dives forward and is stopped at the 43-yard line. It was Jesse Baker and Ron Fellows as the Cowboys playing their 4-0 defense. Bill Fralick, 2nd pick last year in the right guard, and how big he is and really has established himself now.
Well, he certainly has. He's looking to go to the Pro Bowl this year, and of course the 2-time All-American from Pitt, clearly the Outland Trophy winner, the best offensive or defensive lineman in the country, and he's all pro material. He has it written all over him.
3rd and 7 at the 44.
He's mean too. Archer,
quick release, and the pass is going to be caught, and still with it is Charlie Brown as he beat Everson Walls. And a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line of Dallas. A 36-yard pickup to Brown, who's been off to a fine start this year.
The Dallas blitz, here it comes. This is Michael Downs, number 26. We're going to see up in the line is Albritton. Away they go. So Archer with the 5-step drop gets rid of the ball quickly. And it's steal on steal downfield as it's Charlie Brown and Everson Walls. And what we're going to see here is fine concentration by Charlie Brown. It looks like an incompletion, but he stays on the football and makes the catch.
1st and 10, they spotted at the 19 of Dallas. Riggs fights his way to the 15-yard line. Gain of 4 yards. Jeff Rohr and Jim Jeffcoat combined to make the tackle, and right now Riggs has gained 74 yards on the afternoon on 16 carries.
And I think that's all Atlanta wants on 1st down. Gerald Riggs, if he can get that 4 yards, when you can hear 4 yards being picked up like you can when Gerald Riggs is carrying the ball, that takes a toll on the defense as well. It's hot for Dallas's defense, and Gerald Riggs may start to get a little running room.
2nd down and 6. Wide open down the middle and a touchdown to Keith Williams. How easy that was for the Atlanta Falcons. 15 yards and a touchdown brings Atlanta back.
Keith Williams comes in motion across the play. We've got a flag down on the field, and it's going to come back.
Holding against Atlanta will spoil a picture-perfect pass play.
Williams was all alone over the middle, but it comes back.
Holding offense, number 61, 10 yards, 2nd down.
It was John Scully, the left guard.
Let's see if we can spot the hold. John Scully, the left guard, he lines up right here. Let's watch the play and see if we can see the hold. He's working against Randy White. You can see he had his left arm all the way around Randy's midsection. John Scully flagged for the hold. Costly error.
Instead of 6 points, it is 2nd down and 16, way back to the 25 for the Falcons, who trail 21-13 to the Cowboys. Archer to the 20 and slides inside the 20-yard line. Will be shy of a 1st down by about 7 yards. And a 3rd down situation coming up for Dan Henning.
There's an example of the quarterback. When you go into that hook slide, they spot the ball where you first go into it, not how far you slide. The quarterback wanted to be protected, so they say, okay, go into your slide, but if you slide for 5 yards without being touched, it comes back to where it started.
So as a result of that, Dan, it's 3rd down and 9 at the 18-yard line. Is caught for a touchdown by Ken Wisenhunt, the H-back, and the Falcons get it anyway.
And I was following Keith Williams on the play, who was open again across the middle underneath. But what a throw by Dave Archer to Ken Wisenhunt. Let's look at it from the end zone. No Dallas blitz. Strictly the 4 guys and superior pass protection. And look at the shot Wisenhunt takes right there from Billy Bates, but he holds on to the ball.
And Archer's reaction, he had a rough 1st half, was pressured and makes the big play again, and it's now a 21-19 game. And Luckhurst will try to bring the Falcons to within 1. He does, and with 10:46 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Atlanta scores first and trails now 21-20.
Up at the H-back, lines up at tight end. He's going to come out, make an inside move back in. Vince Albritton right here has him one-on-one and gets beat for the touchdown. Watch Albritton. Right there you can see Albritton is already a step behind. And Ken Wisenhunt, and a beautifully thrown ball by Dave Archer, who threw 2 touchdown passes on 1 drive.
And his first NFL touchdown for Ken Wisenhunt, who was a backup to Cliff Benson, who was released. Former quarterback at Georgia Tech, who once guided the Yellow Jackets to a 3-3 tie against Notre Dame. Ken Wisenhunt. Mick Luckhurst kicking off, and deep is Robert Levette now to the left, and Darryl Clack to the right. Want Levette to get the ball, and he does in the 7th. And he's ridden out of bounds by Scott Case. And a look at the scoring drive, and it's awfully tough to get a touchdown, have it nullified, and then come back again.
It shows tremendous concentration and confidence in your offensive team. And I just can't overestimate what that means to the Falcons and their confidence in this football game, to have Williams' touchdown pass called back because of the hold on Scully, and then to come right back and do it again.
And a key play in that drive was a 36-yard pass to Charlie Brown. That's something Archer has not been able to unleash so far today.
I'm just very, very impressed with David Archer.
1st and 10 at the 27. Tony Dorsett. The stutter step. John Rady and Mike Gann make the tackle at the 27-yard line.
Gerald Riggs, Ken Wisenhunt. Ken Wisenhunt, who also played a little quarterback in his collegiate career, as Dick said, has certainly showed himself to be a capable blocker and a receiver. That's some combination. Not many guys can make that transition.
Gained 1 on the play. Ball at the 28. Have scored their 2nd touchdown today by the defense. 33-yard return of an interception by Bobby Butler. And the Falcons have taken the lead again.
And you could see that coming a mile away. The Cowboys, 2 wide receivers to the near side of the field. We're going to downfield, and I think this is Banks going to come to the outside. And watch Bobby Butler. When he comes, he's going to read it perfectly. He's already making the break, sensing the throw. Danny White throws it right to Bobby Butler. You could see it coming.
Luckhurst with the conversion. And the kick is good. And with 9:46 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Falcons lead it 27-21. Bobby Butler is the latest Atlanta hero.
Gordon Banks right here is waiting for the hill. He's going to wait for Tony to clear. Bobby Butler is with him one-on-one. He's going to read it, and he's even going to get to the outside of Banks before the ball is thrown. Danny White, you have to wonder why he didn't see that and pull up. Already Butler with the outside position. Boy, a quarterback's nightmare.
Bobby Butler, the only Falcon in the same position he played last year, left cornerback. And a few words from Tom Landry to Danny White. And for Bobby Butler, in his 6-year career, his first touchdown. 33 yards. And one he'll always remember. And the Falcons lead it 27-21.
What a football game. This is excellent.
2 teams 2-0 coming in. No one thought Atlanta would be in this condition, even though they had played New Orleans and St. Louis. Falcons were 4-12 last year and already have won half of that amount coming into this game. And once again, the turnovers and takeaways. 3 takeaways. They're mounting to 17 points, and Dallas got a touchdown ultimately after a turnover by Atlanta. Kickoff, Levette at the 10-yard line. And Austin holding on. Brett Clark making the tackle. Coming up next, it'll be the New York Giants against the LA Raiders. And of course, the Giants, looking at this game in the NFC East race, need to win against the tough Raiders, who have lost 2 tough ones so far.
That they haven't. And Dick, I'm a little surprised as they boo Danny White when he's brought out on the football field. I have a tough time going along with that.
He didn't even practice the last 2 days, and usually you don't even play if that happens. The ball's at the 24, first and 10 Dallas. And a timeout has been called by, I believe, by the Falcons. The preliminary signal.
Timeout, Atlanta.
Atlanta has scored 14 points in 1 minute of playing time in the third quarter to have the lead. First and 10 at the 24 for the Cowboys. Tackled at the 30-yard line by Andrew Province, now the nose tackle, and Buddy Curry. Marion Campbell came over after being head coach of Philadelphia and has brought his defensive philosophy with him.
Plus all his coaches and a couple of his players, and of course Marion coming back home. He brought his entire defensive staff, as he told us he didn't want to be in a position to spend a lot of his time coaching the coaches. Let's coach the players, and of course he brought both his outside linebackers along as well.
Reggie Wilkes has played today. Joel Williams has not. Johnny Taylor has been in there. Second and 5. White flushed from the pocket. And Sherrard's going to be called, I think, for offensive pass interference. He was all over the back of Bobby Butler.
And I think that's a good play by Mike Sherrard, because that was going to be intercepted again. If it goes against Sherrard, it's going to be because he sees how underthrown the ball is. He grabs Butler from behind, and Mike Sherrard, I think, will gladly take the penalty rather than the interception.
He was the guy that the Dallas Cowboys traded up to draft in the first round ahead of the Giants, who wanted a wide receiver and looked very closely at Sherrard from UCLA.
Pass interference, offense, number 86. 10 yards, second down.
It's not often you commit a penalty, but when you go back to your huddle, your quarterback says thank you. That should have been the case right there. Danny White to Mike Sherrard.
So instead of another turnover and the Falcons threatening again, it'll be second down and 15 for Danny White, and the Cowboys back on their own 19-yard line. He couldn't even set up yesterday and the day before, and Tom Landry says if he can't set up, he's out of business, and he's come in there and has looked awfully good, save for that interception. Dorsett on the pitch. And Tony brings it out to the 24-yard line, close to the 25, and the tackles by Scott Case and Andrew Province. Province is in for Casillas, the rookie at nose tackle.
We're seeing Dallas work to the left side, and they're working against Johnny Taylor, this linebacker. Watch how soft he plays. Timmy Newsom's going to come up with a lead block. This is a linebacker. He's got to be up on the line of scrimmage. Newsom's going to get into him, take him clear to the outside. You can't have an outside linebacker playing 7 yards off the ball like that.
Herschel Walker in the ball game now. Third and 9 at the 25. White up the middle, complete to Gordon Banks. And a turnover. Or did the whistle blow? And the whistle had blown, and Banks is down at the 40-yard line.
But they're going to give the ball to Atlanta. They're very late on a call here, Dick, right at the 40, and Banks is still laying on the ground.
Brett Clark had recovered the fumble and ran with it. The whistle had blown, but after Clark had recovered the fumble.
And we have another Falcon.
Andrew Province, I believe, the nose tackle, is on the ground, and that will go as another turnover, and the Falcons will have it in Dallas territory.
And that's David Crudup, who's also on the ground. Bodies everywhere. Danny White's going to take a tremendous shot right here, actually, from Province. Boy, what a hit. Now let's watch it. Okay, it is a catch by Banks. Tough to see the football. It's laying there on the ground. Let's see if we can see it from the... He clearly has possession of the football. Let's see if we can see where the ball comes out. Oh, yes.
And I believe they're talking to the replay official upstairs. That is the walkie-talkie that they use, and we'll get a ruling up there. Keep in mind that Ralph Moorcroft, a former NFL official, is the replay official working upstairs.
Again, the only thing we know for sure is that definitely Gordon Banks has possession. The question is, did he fumble after he was on the ground? No, the ball came out ahead of time. There are the replay officials in their booth. By my estimation, it looked like a fumble.
All right, here goes. Chuck Heberling will tell us.
We have a completed pass and a fumble recovered by Atlanta. We also have an inadvertent whistle. It is Atlanta's ball, 1st and 10.
Crudup on the hit, Brett Clark on the recovery.
In other words, Brett Clark should have been able to get up and run, but the official blew the whistle, stopped the play,
and cost Atlanta a touchdown.
He certainly did.
Banks is up, but the Atlanta player Crudup, who made the hit on Banks, is still on the ground. But if there's an inadvertent whistle, and you're right, Dan, that meant that Clark could have picked it up and run for a touchdown, and that was all called back.
Well, there was confusion by the official who was right on the spot. He wasn't sure if it was a fumble or not, so he blew a whistle, stopped the play. But when you saw the ball come out, it did come right to Brett Clark, and of course Banks did make contact with him, so he can get up. This is the NFL. He can get up and go with the football. But meanwhile, David Crudup still down on the ground. What a violent collision.
And the 4th turnover of the game by the Dallas Cowboys. And Atlanta will have the ball in Dallas territory and the lead when we come. It's 1st and 10 for the Falcons on the Dallas 40-yard line. Archer running with it and slides down at the 35-yard line. And a gain of almost 5 on the play. Crudup is still woozy as he's on the sideline now for the Falcons, who are beginning their best starting field position after that turnover. And of course, when we say that Atlanta would have scored, we don't know that the Falcons and Brett Clark would have scored, but had there been no whistle, they would have had a better opportunity.
Well, he certainly would have advanced the ball farther down the field. There's no question of that. He would have had to go through the entire Cowboy team to get to the end zone. Certainly not a given.
Gordon Banks was hit in the head. They say he's doubtful of returning. Jesse Penn, linebacker for the Cowboys, has a jammed neck, and he will not return to the game. And meanwhile, Atlanta has called a timeout, and that is the second one that they've called in the second half. They only have one left.
And of course, Gordon Banks leaving the game for Dallas, who only has 3 wide receivers to begin with, now drops them down to only having Tony Hill and Mike Sherrard and Reggie Collier, who's really a quarterback, who's now is put in the position, Dick, of being their 3rd wide receiver.
Well, we expect a whale of a matchup, Dan, next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on CNN. 7 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Falcons, who scored 2 touchdowns in a 1-minute span in this 3rd quarter, have forged a 27-21 lead over the Cowboys. And as we said, Atlanta left with only 1 timeout. That can leave them in a bind if they're trailing at the end of this thing. 2nd down and 6 at the 36 of the Cowboys. Gerald Riggs trying to hold on to the ball, which he has done so well coming into the game. Riggs had not turned the ball over in 527 attempts. There's Banks, who's finished for the day, and Collier, who could figure as a wide receiver.
Reggie Collier, number 10, who was drafted as a quarterback, went to the USFL and played for a while, and now back, but the Cowboys have had to work him at wide receiver, and he's not real pleased about it.
He'd rather be a quarterback.
Wouldn't everybody?
3rd down and 2. You?
I outgrew it when I was 8.
Gerald Riggs inside the 30 has a 1st down for the Falcons. Everson Walls and Michael Downs making the tackle. 81 yards on the day for Gerald Riggs.
The Dallas Cowboy defense, no secret what's coming at you. It's number 42, Gerald Riggs, and still William Andrews with a good lead block and a pretty simple 1st down for Atlanta, who right now appears to be in complete command of this football game.
Turnover's the big story. 4-1. Dallas has turned it over the 4 times. At the 29. Archer up the middle. Incomplete. He was going for Joey Jones. Wide receiver.
And he is wide open on the play, and it's clearly an overthrown pass. Watch Jones break to the inside. tough to get more wide open than that, but the ball too high from David Archer. Joey Jones, who's only 5'8", doesn't have great leaping ability. The ball right through his hands. Joey Jones, who played over in the United States Football League. Boy, if David could have dropped that ball about a foot, or if Jones could have grown a foot, it would have been an easy completion.
Neither of those possibilities, well, one of them really tough, but 2nd and 10. 5:52 on the clock in the third quarter. Archer. Randy White's got it.
Perseverance. Randy White, watch him with the upfield play. He doesn't get open right away. He's got to fight off people. There he is, hitting Scully. He hits Baker, his own guy. Work back to the inside. Keep fighting your man, but always watching for Archer to come out of the pocket. Boy, that's good hustle, good hard work by Randy White. They're saving him a pedestal in the Hall of Fame.
3rd and 16, back at the 35-yard line. Archer going deep for Charlie Brown, and covered on the play by Everson Walls.
Charlie Brown causes David Archer some concern. We're seeing the end of the play here, but about 10 yards back upfield, Charlie had almost come to a stop. I don't know where he thought David Archer was going with the football, but Charlie, who's running with Everson Walls, came to a stop back up about the 20-yard line, and you can see he's pretty upset with himself. He knows he made a bad mistake.
And Mick Luckhurst is going to try another field goal from beyond 50. He missed a 56-yarder, but not by much earlier. This will be a 52-yard attempt with Archer holding. It's blocked. Everson Walls still got it. And Michael Downs blocked it. The Cowboys are in good position here.
Michael Downs is going to come in from the outside. He's going to split the seam, and he's going to get the block. This isn't a question of kicking the ball too low. Look at Downs get through the crack. Right there. Luckhurst got the ball up in there in plenty of time. Poor blocking, and a big play by Michael Downs.
Walls ran it back 17 yards, and Archer was forced to make the tackle, and it's 1st and 10 Cowboys on the Falcon 35. White, he's in trouble. Dumps it off to Dorsett, and ridden out of bounds by Bobby Butler. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Johnny Taylor with good penetration on Danny White.
Mike Gann certainly upset about something. Defensive end for the Falcons is screaming at Chuck Eberling, the referee. Can only assume he thought he was held. But Danny White that time doing just enough, moving around just enough in the backfield to buy a little extra time, and got rid of it to Dorsett right before Johnny Taylor got him. There's Mike Gann. Keep an eye on him, see if he makes something happen.
2nd and 10 at the 35. Tony Dorsett, and Dorsett is down at the 28-yard line by John Rady. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 now for the Cowboys, with 4:35 remaining in the third quarter.
How many shifts of momentum has this game had?
Countless, huh?
The minute it looks like Atlanta's putting together a good drive, all of a sudden Archer gets sacked by Randy White, then problems.
You know, that was the first time, by the way, that Atlanta did not score off of a turnover. And Luckhurst had the kick block, and now we're going to see if the Cowboys could take advantage of that break. 3rd and 2. They mark it at the 27. On the the draw, Dorsett close to a first down at the 25. Reggie Wilkes makes the tackle, and it appears as if Dorsett has enough for a Dallas first down.
Boy, sure looked like it to me. He got across the 25. And he does pick up the first down. Let's look at Mike Gann, number 76. See how he makes a block or makes a play here. Boy, does he gets buried by Crawford Kerr, the right guard, who blocked out on Mike Gann and put him flat on his back. He didn't see that one coming.
He dumped Lomax for a safety last week. Cowboys with their first down of this second half at the 24 of Atlanta. Give it to Dorsett again. And a couple. Wilkes is there.
Same type of move that Tony used in the first half. Made a couple of big plays, coming to a complete stop and going to the backside, but that time Atlanta stayed home and was there only a yard.
We're at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, in a wild affair between a pair of 2-0 teams, Atlanta and Dallas. Dick Stockton and Dan Deerdorf. We have had 5 turnovers in the game, 6 sacks, and some exciting plays by the defense, and we have a lot of time remaining. We're in the third quarter. Dallas threatening, 2nd and 9 on the Falcon 23. Dorsett. And another fine play by Reggie Wilkes, and what he has brought over from the Philadelphia Eagles and Marion Campbell's system we can't overemphasize.
Atlanta only gave up a 7th rounder for Reggie Wilkes. Marion Campbell calls him his coach on the field. As we hear a little noise in the background as Herschel Walker checks in, but that time Reggie Wilkes with a fine open field tackle. And then a little talking to the Cowboy bench, saying hello to some friends over there, I'm sure.
Less than 2.5 remaining in the third quarter. It'll be 3rd down and 12 with Walker, as you saw in there. White's going for Tony Hill, and he's got him. First down at the 12. Bobby Butler covering. Not much he could do there.
Bobby Butler looked like he bought a move to the inside. Let's look at it from the end zone. How about it? From behind Danny White. We'll see Tony Hill to the right of our screen after the throw. Did he get both feet in? Sure did. But it was awful close.
First catch of the day for Tony Hill, Dan, and now he's caught a pass. 62 consecutive games, a club record, and it's 1st and 10 at the 11.
And that one was closer than I thought.
Picked up 14 there. Dorsett fighting his way to the 7th. Wendell Kaysen on the tackle as Tom Landry talks things over with Paul Hackett upstairs. Under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
See if we can take a look at it again. The last catch by Tony Hill. Let's look closely to see if he got both feet. There's possession 1. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Wendell Kaysen was shaken up. The strong safety for the Falcons. There's Kaysen, who made the stop on Tony Dorsett. Want to remind you, coming up next, most of you will see the Giants against the Raiders in Los Angeles. Jim Plunkett will start at quarterback. Mark Wilson is hurt and will not play, and the Raiders trying to win their first game.
Some of you also see Washington against the Chargers and the Saints and the 49ers in an NFC West contest. But most of you will see the Raiders and the Giants. What a game that ought to be. The Raiders, can you believe it, facing 0-3? Wow. 2
tough losses on the road to Denver and to Washington, and games they could have won. But now they're home against another tough foe. Kenny Johnson, the veteran number 37, replaces Wendell Kaysen at strong safety. 2nd and 6 for the Cowboys. They're at the 7th. Danny White drills it. Tony Hill, touchdown. And Hill and Scott Case going at it a bit.
Give credit that time to both Danny White and Tony Hill. We talked before how well they know each other. goes after it. Tony Hill, he's going to try to spike the ball. Case is going to grab it and say, no, you're not. That's a great way to start a fight.
And we're tied at 27 on Tony Hill's first touchdown reception of the year. And Rafael Septien will try to give the Cowboys the lead again in this back-and-forth affair. He does, with 1:18 remaining in the third quarter. Dallas leads again. Bob Callahan, is a maintenance engineer, left our crew this morning to go home. He had a tragedy in the family, and all of us connected with the broadcast of this game express our sympathies to the family of Bob Callahan. Dallas leading Atlanta 28-27 with 1:18 remaining. We've had our fifth lead change today, and Rafael Septien getting set to kick off for the Cowboys. Sylvester Stamps in the end zone. Down and there for a touchback. Wacky game, Dave.
Well, we said at the top of the telecast that these two teams don't like each other at all, and we're going to get a good example of that right here. After the catch, Scott Case goes right on top of Tony Hill. He didn't like Tony holding up the ball. Tony's going to say, here, Scott, this baby's for you. But who gets the last laugh? The guy that scored 6, that's who. Reggie Collier, Tony Hill. Can you believe that guy jumping me in the end zone like that? But look at the scoreboard.
Falcons first and 10 on the 20-yard line. Archer, first down. Completes to Dixon, and a first down out of bounds at the 33-yard line, a gain of 15. Let's take a look at the scoring drive, and it all came about following the block of the 5th field goal by Michael Downs. Walls ran at 17 yards, and then the Cowboys went from there as Luckhurst tried a 52-yard field goal. Luckhurst has kicked field goals from 47 and 33 yards today, and he missed one from 57 yards as well. First and 10 from 35 now. Archer in trouble, completes it to Charlie Brown. A couple of jukes, and Charlie Brown gets into Dallas territory and goes out of bounds at the 44. Michael Downs making the stop. 22-yard play by Brown.
Two good throws in a row from David Archer. First to Dixon, and this time to Charlie Brown. Just working at the bottom of your picture. Everson Walls playing 8 or 9 yards off of Charlie Brown. Everson's still not in the picture. There he is. And then he misses the tackle. Awful big cushion that time by Everson Walls.
Under a minute to go in the third quarter. First and 10 Falcons. They're on the Cowboy 43. Riggs with a hold. Pounds his way inside the 40. And the tackle, John Dutton with Michael Downs' help.
Ken Wisenhunt, number 45, right there at the left of your screen. Watch him come in and trap Randy White. Randy's going to step upfield. Wisenhunt in motion right there. Gets a hit on Randy White. Boy, that's a nice opening up the middle.
Second down and 6 at the 39. This may be, if it's a running play, the last play of the third quarter. Riggs fights his way close to first down range, inside the 35, close to the 33. And this will be the last play of the third quarter. And that will be the end of the third quarter with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 28, the Atlanta Falcons 20. Dick Stockton and Dan Deerdorf. We start the fourth quarter at Texas Stadium. It's been an exciting, wild game, and the Cowboys lead by 1. Atlanta has a first and 10, though, on the Dallas 33. Archer, and he was going for Dixon, and he was covered by Ron Fellows. The ball was right there.
Ron Fellows came up and made the hit on Dixon. Dixon turned around. He thought he was going to get the interference call. You make the decision on Ron Fellows, who has to do a 180 pirouette. Does he get there before the ball? Sure does. Ron Fellows looked like he could have been called easily for interference there. Looked like the left arm was Wrapped around Floyd Dixon.
Cowboys avoided that one. 2nd and 10 at the 33. To the same guy, Dixon, out of bounds as the throw was a bit high for him. Billy Bates and Ron Fellows were both there.
Very similar to the last play. That time, though, the ball just overthrown by Dave Archer. Dave let it go. He sees the open man. Yep, he senses as it's too far, and it's his fault. Lip readers of the world unite.
3rd and 10 at the 33. That's what Archer has done today. They don't move the ball here. It would be a 50-yard field goal for Luckhurst. Just speculating. 50-yard attempt. Archer has the first down, I believe, depending on where they spot the ball.
He's awful close.
Vince Albritton finally put the seal on him, and he's very close to a first down and certainly within field goal range, but they may have that first down at the 23-yard line, and they're going to have a measurement now.
We'll see the chains brought clear across the field. Dave Archer gave the impression like he was going to the sideline and then cut back upfield.
Archer has gained 46 yards rushing on 6 attempts, and keep in mind he led all National Football League quarterbacks in running last year with 347 yards. That's how shy they are of a first down. So Dan Henning has a decision to make. His team down by 1 and less than the length of a football, and they're going to go for it. I think they are. They send in Riggs and Andrews and those 2 huge tight ends,
and I doubt that the thought of kicking a field goal ever even crossed his mind. They run the ball so effectively when you've got someone like Riggs, when you have someone like Andrews in your backfield. When you're the underdog, why not?
It'll be 4th and about a foot, maybe even less. At the 24-yard line.
Chuck Heberling has still not made a call. Now hold on a second. He hasn't given it to Dallas yet, although it didn't appear that he got the first down. They're bringing out the chains.
Cowboy offense has already taken the field, and for that matter the Atlanta defense has as well. So they have a feeling, and they did not make it, and they lost. They lost about a yard.
Let's listen to that 4th down attempt by the Atlanta Falcons. This is short yardage. And it was Ed Jones at the line of scrimmage. Ed Jones makes the play. He pleases his longtime coach. That's about as excited as a guy can get. Come on, Tom, don't lose your head.
So the Cowboys get the ball back on downs. They have a 1-point lead. Plenty of time remaining. Danny White fired. Tony Hill makes a fine catch on a pass behind him to the 44-yard line. A gain of 19. Scott Case was there on the tackle.
2 old friends reunited, Scott Case and Tony Hill. Remember the altercation they had in the end zone? Tony, little fake, shoulder fake, both to the outside and to the inside, and then doesn't go either direction, just button hooks the ball from Danny White right there.
Hill earlier caught his first touchdown pass of the season. It's 1st and 10 for Dallas on their own 44-yard line. Herschel Walker is in, and he'll get the call here. And he picks up about 4. Walker went into the game averaging 7.2 yards a carry, highest in the NFL. Buddy Curry on that stop.
Paul Hackett was telling us yesterday, Hackett, the passing game coordinator, how Tom Landry challenged the coaching staff. He said, get Herschel Walker into the ball game, but we don't want to do it at the expense of Tony Dorsett. Dorsett, still my #1 guy.
And his #1 guy is the lone setback on 2nd and 7 at the 47. Walker is a receiver on this play. Pass will go to Tony, and Dorsett gets away from Wendell Kaysen and gets a first down to the 44-yard line of Atlanta. Pretty good moves by Dorsett there in a gain of 9.
But yet Wendell Kaysen was in the proper position to make the play. And Kaysen has missed 3 or 4 open field tackles today that have resulted in some Dallas Cowboy runners picking up some first downs. Wendell not having a big day. But that guy is. Wendell Kaysen. I'm sorry, Dick. Wendell Kaysen right there. Missing a lot of tackles.
1st and 10 at the 44. Dorsett. Thrown back by John Rady, who gained 20 pounds to help his move from the outside to the inside at linebacker this year.
And it didn't appear that John was even blocked on that play. He was set up, squared off right at the line of scrimmage, and Dorsett just ran right into him. Jim Cooper, the right tackle, came across on a pull but didn't pick him up.
It'll be 2nd down and 11. Dorsett gained 70 yards rushing in the first half, has only 17 in this half. 11:20 to go in this 4th quarter. Pressure. Wilkes is chasing Danny White. And White will run for a change and get quite a shot, and a penalty marker down. Brett Clark. May be called for a personal foul.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how far out of bounds the hit came, but Clark is definitely going to be flagged. Well, he gave an interference call against Atlanta. Let's wait and see if he really meant interference.
He'll mark it off.
Unnecessary roughness, number 28, defense, 15 yards first down.
Let's watch Brett Clark. Let's see how far out of bounds Danny White is. Oh. I don't know if a guy can pull up that quick.
Except you knew that White was definitely going out of bounds there.
Oh, do you? He did the one time in the first half where he stopped at the sidelines and didn't go out of bounds. You know, I mean, that's a tough call. That's very tough.
1st and 10 for the Cowboys at the Falcon 20. Penalty marker down. The pass is caught by Sherrard, who gets inside the 10, but Timmy Newsom might have moved in the backfield before the snap.
Let's go back to that, Dick. You know the point I'm trying to make. Remember one time White scrambled in the first half. He came right over to the sideline, stopped, and then made a move back to the inside of the field. I think it was Mike Gann that threw him to the ground and got some boos.
Illegal motion offense. 2 men moving. Both of them did not get set. 5 yards, first down.
Oh, your point is well taken. If you see a quarterback who really is angling out of bounds and doesn't have any room to stay in bounds, but it's strictly one of those judgment calls that you live with.
One thing, though, let's just disregard the end of that play. How about Danny White? Again, we must remind you, he didn't practice the last 2 days, has a pulled leg muscle, and yet scrambles out of the pocket like that. Courageous.
1st and 15 back at the 25 now for Cowboys. Dorsett gets by Buddy Curry and spins his way inside the 15. And a fumble recovered by the Cowboys at the 12-yard line.
I think he's going to say that he was down.
It is a first down. Let's see where they spot the ball. Close to first down territory. Mike Pitts made the hit. A 13-yard gain by Dorsett.
Let's look at the conclusion of this play. The field called the fumble. The ball didn't come out until Tony was down on the ground. That can't be a fumble.
It'll be second down. And about 2 as Dorsett comes out of the game, and Herschel Walker joins Timmy Newsome in the backfield. 9:45 on the clock, fourth quarter. Newsome, another flag down. Timmy Newsome is going to go in, but I think the Cowboys again had moved in the backfield, and Herschel Walker might have been the man.
Well, it was Newsome himself. Walker hesitated a bit, but actually Timmy Newsome has nobody to blame but himself. I saw him roll out of his stance. We'll see if we can pick it up. Timmy Newsome is the fullback right behind Danny White. Let's see if he moves. There he goes, right there. That's the motion.
Right.
But another flag was thrown on the line. Let's get the call.
Illegal motion offense. 2 men moving. Penalty will be declined. Holding offense. Number 75. 10 yards. Second down.
So they'll take the bigger penalty of the 2. Phil Pozderac, the left tackle, and a 10-yard mark-off here. We have had 5 lead changes in this game. And right now the Cowboys are in front precariously, 28-27, with 9:38 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Remember, Pozderac got in trouble in the first half when Rick Bryan beat him, hit Danny White, caused the fumble that Mike Pitts ran in for a touchdown.
One of 2 scores by the Atlanta defense, the other being a Bobby Butler interception return. So it's 2nd and 12 now at the 22.
Into the pocket out of the shotgun, looks downfield, steps up, but then decides, look at him dump it off. That's so pretty to see a veteran quarterback perform like that. Sherrard, he can find the end zone.
First NFL touchdown by Mike Sherrard, and Rafael Septien will try to add the 35th point. He does, and it's now 35-27. Danny White with 4 touchdown passes today.
Here's Mike Sherrard lined up to the outside. Watch when he makes his move to the middle, and watch what Danny White's threatened run does to the defense. Now Sherrard makes his break to the inside. Okay, right there, 2 Atlanta defenders make the break up towards Danny White, the defense, the run. Sherrard's wide open. All because Danny White threatened to run with a football.
And the rookie from UCLA with his first TD reception. And the Cowboys have scored 14 points in the second half. The Falcons had only allowed 7 points in the second half of their first 2 games. But this is a high-scoring, wild affair. Septien will be kicking off to Sylvester Stamps on the left and Keith Williams on the right. Plenty of time, though, Dan. 9:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. Good test for Dave Archer coming up. And it's going to be Williams at the goal line. Williams is upended at the 22-yard line by Steve Diassi. Oklahoma and Miami.
Of course, the wishbone. What an awesome running attack they have in Norman.
Not enough for Scott Case. First and 10 at the 22. Archer sacked John Dutton, and that'll be his 3rd sack of the afternoon. As you mentioned, Dan, from a guy who normally is not in the forefront of pass rushing.
John Dutton has taken a lot of criticism. John Dutton working over Bill Fralick, works behind Too Tall Jones. That's a designated play. He loops to the outside and comes around untouched. And you're right, Dutton for years been criticized here in Dallas because he didn't have a pass rush.
Atlanta had been sacked only 3 times coming into this game. Dallas has gotten Archer on 5 occasions. 2nd and 17. At the 15 on a draw play, Gerald Riggs. Randy White rode him out for a couple of yards to the 18. And gain of about 3, and that's all.
Buddy Curry enjoying the only breeze down on that field. It's an artificial breeze. It's from the big fan right there, and John Rady soaking up most of that moving air for himself. Buddy says, thanks, John. Give me a break, will you? Notice that all the Atlanta players are sitting in the shade. Their sunny bench is not very crowded.
You think they left the field if you just look there? 3rd and 13. Stamps in motion. Archer has his man Charlie Brown, and Brown close to the first down. Had to do some fancy footwork, and he does have it at the 32-yard line. A gain of 13 and a big play on 3rd and long.
Oh, just a fine call by the Falcons with the rollout to Archer. He's had trouble. His pass protection has broken down a couple times. Here's the rollout all the way. Wayne Radloff, his center, comes all the way out and picks off Victor Scott. And Dave, just a fine throw. I think we're seeing the maturing of a quarterback here today in David Archer.
And a big test playing on the road here in Dallas. They've been trailing most of the day, but now they're down by 8 points in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 at the 32. Riggs spun away from Lockhart and is down finally at the 38-yard line by Bill Bates.
The score of this ball game, 35-27. What that tells you is the Falcons need 2 scores to take the lead. So that has to come into their consideration. A 6-minute drive here really doesn't help them. They've got to get a touchdown and a field goal to take the lead.
Gerald Riggs has gained a 100-yard stand, 16th time in his career. Winding down to 7 minutes remaining. 2nd and 4 at the 38. And Riggs, with some fine running, has another first down for the Falcons out to the 45, where Jeff Rohrer is there to make the stop.
It's kind of good news and bad news. I know, having been on this field, you like to get a good drive going offensively, but you're always a little sad when you move from the shade out into the sun.
I don't think Henning's going to worry about that.
Oh, of course not. He's standing on the sideline.
Well, the Falcons have been real successful when Gerald Riggs has gone over 100 yards. 5 of their last 6. Let's see if form holds true. Play action. And Archer almost picked off, knocked away by Fellows, intended for Charlie Brown, and a good play by Ron Fellows.
Ron Fellows and Everson Walls get out of position more than any 2 cornerbacks I've ever seen and can come up and make the play. Fellows was 4 yards behind Charlie Brown, and yet is an athlete enough to react, get back in front, and get a hand on the football. Boy, they live dangerous.
Coming back from off-season knee surgery, Fellows had an interception in the opening game against the Giants. 2nd and 10 for Archer and the Falcons on their own 45. 6:18 to go in the 4th. Archer going up on top, and we'll have a flag. They were going for Charlie Brown, and Everson Walls is complaining with the official, but there was no question that Brown was tripped.
Everson Walls is asking for a little incidental contact, and in comes Chuck Eberling. They're going to talk this over.
Pass interference, defense, number 23, first down.
Well, after looking at the replay, he calls number 23, but I think he means number 24 is. I don't think Johnny Holloway was the intended callee, shall we say. It was clearly Everson Walls made contact well before the ball was there.
It was a 27-yard penalty. There's Holloway, rookie from Kansas. So it's 1st and 10 now at the 28 at Dallas. The Falcons just won't go away, as far as the Cowboys are concerned. Flag is down. Archer. So to the 25-yard line, and let's see what the flag was all about.
Well, Ken Wisenhunt, the tight end, dropped out of his stance. We'll have motion against Atlanta.
Final score, Tampa Bay, after losing the first two, beats Detroit 24-20 today.
Illegal motion, number 85 offense, 5 yards, first down.
Anthony Allen, so 5-yard penalty will make it 1st and 15. That's the 8th penalty against the Falcons today for 84 yards. 6:05 remaining in the 4th quarter. Right now, the Falcons, who Dan mentioned, need 2 scores, are right now close to being out of field goal range. Kurt Kluger is in for Jim Jeffcoat at right defensive end. And that's Cliff Austin. Fights his way to the 26-yard line. Under 6 minutes remaining. Eugene Lockhart, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Keep in mind, Atlanta needs 2 scores. They've got to get a touchdown on this drive. So you'd think they're in 4-down territory. Even if they have to go for it on 4th down, I doubt they'll kick the field goal. Unless it's 4th and very long.
Sure. 1 timeout left, too, for Atlanta. They used up 2 early timeouts. Stack the wide receivers to the left. Now Keith Williams. And Williams has it. And a first down inside the 15-yard line. Johnny Holloway that time was covering on the play. Good for 12 yards for the Falcons.
Let's take a look at Keith Williams. He goes in motion back to the inside. This is man coverage all the way. Fellows rides Dixon to the outside, and the clearing pattern back underneath, and Holloway comes in a little late. As a defensive back, that has to be a nightmare pattern to cover. You have to dodge 2 people and still stay on your man.
And a whistle, and Dallas has called a timeout, so the Cowboys will have 2 left to talk things over defensively. 4:52 on the clock in the 4th quarter. Yeah, how wild a scoring game this has been.
Dallas did the big damage in the 2nd period. And that scoring 14 of those points was late. Dallas already over 300. Atlanta will probably go over 300 on the next play, and I think we've got a final.
Buffalo sends St. Louis to defeat number 3 in a row. Jim Kelly with a victory.
Gene Stallings off to a rough start in Pittsburgh. Boy, have they fallen on hard times.
Minnesota winning 31-7. We have 4:52 remaining in the 4th quarter, and a critical drive for the Falcons. And a good drive so far, led by Archer, starting at his own 22. 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 14. Archer completes the pass inside the 10-yard line. Coming out of the pack with it is Cliff Austin, the running back.
Again, I am impressed with Dave Archer and his ability to stand in the pocket under pressure. He has told us before how he's been disappointed in himself because he would always break out of there too early. He would become impatient. Patience is so hard to learn for a quarterback, but I think Dave Archer has made giant strides here early in 1986.
Ball is at the 8-yard line. Austin with Brett Miller blocking. Gets inside the 5. And a first down for the Falcons. Downs on the stop.
A lot of people out in front of this play. Cliff Austin takes the pitch. Not going to test the outside. He's going to take it up inside. That's Wisenhunt out in front. Ken Wisenhunt has done some good blocking, and Austin makes it 1st and goal.
Austin is back up to Riggs. Started the season and had 104 yards in the opening game against New Orleans. Andrews and Riggs are the backs. 1st and goal at the 2. Gerald Riggs is in for the score, standing up. And the Falcons get one of the 2 scores they need.
We have to say one thing. Regardless of who wins this ball game, we always have known the Cowboys are for real. They're there every year. This Atlanta Falcon Ball Club is here. They may have arrived. Power football out of the eye. Gerald Riggs behind William Andrews. This used to be Andrews with the ball. They've changed roles. And now Gerald Riggs just walks in.
Mick Luckhurst will try to bring the Falcons to within 1 point of the Cowboys with 3:28 on the clock. And he does. It's 35-34 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys, who will be receiving the kickoff when we come back. The Giants and the Raiders in L.A. and Jim Plunkett, the old aging veteran, in there again.
And the Raiders are a nasty enough club as it is. Can you imagine him being 0-3?
Tom Flores, the coach of the Raiders, and he will not have Mark Wilson. He will have Marcus Allen today, the NFL's leading rusher last year.
And for Bill Parcells, things definitely looking up. Bill Sims, he seems to have found the touch. The Giants 1-1. So coming up at the conclusion of this ball game, it's the Giants and the Raiders.
And this has been a tremendous battle here between a pair of 2-0 teams coming in. The Cowboys right now will have to be protecting against a possible onside kick, and we saw Luckhurst practicing that when he first came out long before the teams did today.
And a really critical statistic right here is the fact that the Falcons have had to burn 2 of their timeouts. They are down to only 1 timeout remaining.
And they used a lot of time in getting that touchdown.
But they got what they wanted. They had to have a touchdown as one of their 2 scores. But the 1 timeout is going to come into play.
Robert Levitt is deep, and the Falcons line up as if to try an onside kick. But that's all they do. They line up and they send the kick deep into the end zone. A penalty marker is down, however.
They may have been offsides.
I think with 3:21 to go, even though the Falcons do have only 1 timeout left, it would be premature to try the onside kick.
Oh, I agree with you completely, but I think we may see Atlanta have to kick this over.
That'll be the case. Gerald Riggs with his 3rd touchdown rushing of the season. And it's a 35-34 game. So the Falcons have scored 30 or more points in every game, and so have Dallas this year.
Offside, kicking team on the kick, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
They'll kick it from the 30-yard line. Dan Henning trying to get his 3rd win in a struggle with the Cowboys. Final scores as you take a look at them with 3:21 remaining here. And Dan, I guess now it'll be up to the Atlanta defense to really not allow the Cowboys to get 1 or maybe 2 first downs on this drive to try to seal the victory.
Still some work to be done here by the Falcons coverage team. Levitt has had some success bringing back kickoffs today. He's given the Cowboys some good field position a couple of different times. Now with the ball being kicked from the 30, he almost certainly will field this in play and bring it back.
We have had great defensive plays resulting in scores, 5 lead changes. And in a game in which we matched the 2 highest scoring teams in the NFL, we had a game that lived up to that billing at 35-34, and we're not done yet.
You know, one thing I wanted to say about Dan Henning, his son Dan had quite a day yesterday, didn't he?
Yes, he did. As Maryland beat West Virginia, he's got to be real proud of his son, the starting quarterback for the Terps. They overload the right side again. This will be a short kick. Levitt at the 11. Slight foul. And the Falcons have him where he wants him. Kenny Johnson down at the 17-yard line. And that's where Dallas will start 1st and 10, and that's how much time remains. Timeout story, as Dan has mentioned. 1 for Atlanta. Dallas has 2. Well, yesterday, boys, Tickle to death to have the ball 1st and 10 on the 18. The deflection pass was intended for Timmy Newsome, and Rick Bryan got a hand on it. Now the worth of Dallas now, and this is the Paul Hackett influence of the offense throwing here.
Well, I think this would be the opportunity. That's what we were going to see there, a short possession type pass to only a 3-yarder. Hope that it breaks, maybe becomes a 7 or a 10-yarder. But Danny White 20 of 26. I mean, that's an extraordinary completion percentage. I think Danny's got the confidence to work it downfield. I wouldn't rule out a downfield pass to Tony Hill. We've seen it too many years from the Cowboys in this kind of a situation.
2nd and 10 on the 18. White dumps it off to Dorsett. Dorsett fights his way to the 36-yard line, about 2 yards shy of a first down. Robert Moore, a free agent rookie, making the tackle. Slow getting up, and he already had an injury in the opening game of the season against the Giants.
Well, he turned an ankle that many people thought that he was going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks. He was back the next week. A well-executed screenplay. You see the offensive lineman, led by Tom Rafferty, making their break. Wendell Cason, number 20, knocked to the ground by Crawford Kerr. He makes a last-ditch effort, but not enough. Tony breaks away and gets it upfield. But Dorsett still, I'm sorry, Dick, Dorsett's still down.
Well, you've talked about how Paul Hackett instituting a new kind of passing game where they go more to the running backs, and they've done that today.
One of the reasons they're doing that, he told us yesterday that he's instituting more of a 5-step drop for his quarterbacks. They had so many problems last year with their offensive line. Their quarterback was dumped more times than they would like to see. So to alleviate that, he's having Danny White take shorter drops, throw shorter passes. He said as he
White had a lot of time to talk things over with Tom Landry, and Landry with Hackett upstairs. Herschel Walker has gone in for Dorsett. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the 26. Clock now running with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. To midfield before Scott Case knocks him out of bounds. 25 yards for Herschel.
Herschel's going to take the ball from Danny White. When he gets outside, watch the move inside. Right there, and then back to the outside. And you really can't believe it when you're a defender that a guy that big can make that move to the outside and pull it off.
And what did Paul Hackett tell us about Herschel Walker in the team meeting?
He said he's in the front row every day. His pencil works from the beginning of the meeting to the very end. He was very surprised what a student of the game Herschel Walker really is.
1st and 10 at the 49 of Atlanta with 2:26 remaining. Timmy Newsom gets a chance, and a good block by Herschel Walker. And another Dallas first down to the 33, and a flag has been thrown. It'll be against the Cowboys.
2 big openings to the left side of the Cowboy offensive line. This one, though, comes back, and Tom Landry not pleased about this at all.
Walker with a good block on that run.
He's a complete football player.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10 yards, first down.
Bill Pozderac, and that'll set the ball back into Dallas territory at the 41.
Phil Pozderac right here in this pileup right here. Let's see if we can pick up the hold. Oh, he comes in and actually tackles Rick Bryan. Bryan, number 77. And Pozderac has come out of the game. He's been replaced.
That would have been a 17-yard gain. It's 1st and 20 back on the Cowboy 41. White trying to go to Walker, and Reggie Wilkes was covering him. Stops the clock with 2:12 remaining. The Raiders lead 3-0 over the Giants at the Coliseum, that most of you will see coming up next. Talked about Pozderac being taken out. Mark Tuinei, who had high marks against the Detroit Lions late in the game, has moved in at left tackle.
And Tuinei, a former defensive lineman. and who works on both sides of the ball, now is playing left tackle. They really like this kid, by the way. He thinks he might be, Tom Landry thinks he might be their left tackle of the future, but he hasn't had a whole lot of work that last time. Rick Bryan gave him all he could handle, got beat to the inside.
2nd and 20 at the 41. Walker on a sweep. Hemmed in. Puts on his show. Didn't get many yards. Actually, he got about 5. Wendell Kaysen and Brett Clark make the tackle, but we have enough time chewed up so that we have our 2-minute warning in effect. We'll see it unfold. Tony Dorsett has a sprained left knee and will not be back. Wide open is Newsome, and he's tackled at the 49, and immediately the Falcons will use up their last timeout. Dixon calls for the fair catch, and the ball tapped out. Touchback. Cowboys could not keep it in play. They came awfully close, though.
To say the least, they came awful close. Dan Henning's heart had to be in his throat. But they'll get it at the 20-yard line. But again, no timeouts.
Johnny Holloway tried to keep it in play, and there's the man of the moment. They want Mick Luckhurst to get into position to try to win this game. And it'll be Dave Archer starting from the 20 with not much margin here, with no timeouts remaining. 1:39 on the clock. 35-34, Dallas. Archer sacked for the 6th time today.
Again, it's Randy White. Randy White, the first Cowboy there, but the Falcons go in the hurry-up offense.
Kurt Pfluger and Randy White combined. 2nd down and 18. Archer up the middle, completes it to Wisenhunt, the tight end, and a 1st down. But the Falcons have to continue to get ready to call another play. Bill Bates on the stop and a gain of 21. Archer still has the ability, of course, to throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. The ball's at the 33. Archer going deep for Dixon. And Dixon makes the catch. And Floyd Dixon is tackled inside the 5. Michael Downs saved a touchdown, but Atlanta is in position now to win the game.
Can you believe this? The clock is still running. Dixon working against Johnny Holloway. And David Archer with a magnificent throw. Holloway falls down.
A 63-yard play. Players all over the place trying to get on and off the field, and now they're going to call offsides against the Dallas Cowboys with 28 seconds to go on a spectacular play that sets the table for the Atlanta Falcons.
Let's look at that play again. David Archer to Floyd Dixon. Dixon on the inside working against Johnny Holloway. Takes the inside release. Now keep in mind that Archer has scrambled out of the pocket. What concentration by Dixon. And Michael Downs saves the touchdown. Can you believe this?
This crowd is stunned, I'm sure. Here's Heberling to tell us about the penalty.
In the last 2 minutes, on the hurry-up offense, you do not have to wait for the defense to get downfield. If he is still in the offensive backfield, when the ball is snapped, he's offside.
And that was Randy White, who didn't get back in time, and David Archer alertly went ahead and called for the snap. As you could see,
Heberling's out of breath like we are.
He ran all the way down the field, and he's sucking a little air right now.
1st and goal. 28 seconds to go, and keep in mind the Falcons don't have any timeouts remaining. Lucker is down.
Boy, a late flag, too.
Cox turned around immediately and felt that he was interfered with.
A late flag.
Holding. Defense. Number 58. Half the distance. First down.
Mike Hegman. They're going to spot it at the 1-yard line. We'll try a field goal. Archer holding. An 18-yard attempt. And the kick is good. 20 seconds remain, and Nick Luckers, who had a 52-yarder block, missed a 57, along with good kicks from 47 and 33 yards, has given the Atlanta Falcons a 37-35 lead on the 6th lead change of this incredible and improbable afternoon here at Texas Stadium.
And that call by Dan Henning, it is hard to fault. With no timeouts remaining, could you run not scoring a touchdown and having a whole pile of 22 people and not getting off another play?
Dan, I think your illustration of what happened to the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago was perhaps evidence enough for Dan Henning not to take any chances and have Luckhurst kick it. So now the Falcons will be kicking off. Dallas has 2 times. Two clutch drives on the last 2 possessions have given the Falcons the lead, 37-35. Luckhurst kick deep into the end zone. Be down there. Collier is one of them. The converted quarterback. Inside handoff to Herschel Walker, who brings it out to the 29-yard line, and the Cowboys call a timeout with 15 seconds to go. Rick Bryan on the stop. Tell me about that play, Mr. Deardorff.
I think we may have a few raised eyebrows.
Dallas has the only timeout left in this game. White going to go for Sherrard. Incomplete. 10 seconds to go. Just for the record, Rafael Septien's career longest field goal is 53 yards.
Has he ever attempted an 80-yarder?
Well, maybe in some high altitude places that might travel a little bit.
That's what he'd have to do right now.
There's Septien, but that's a long dream right now for the Dallas Cowboys with 10 seconds to go and the ball on their own 28.
Well, they need at least a 40, 45-yard play to give him a chance.
Falcons trying to beat the Dallas Cowboys for the first time ever here at Texas Stadium, and only the 2nd time overall. They're close. Danny White to Tony Hill. Tony Hill! But the game is over. They ran out of time. Bobby Butler knocked him out of bounds, and the Atlanta Falcons are celebrating as if they just made the playoffs. And this game carries a tremendous significance toward that.
And this is one of the greatest football games I have ever seen. What a finish. What a finish. The Falcons win it. And Dan Henning, I think his team now believes.
And Tom Landry, watch his reaction. Thought that Tony Hill might have been off for an amazing touchdown, but they ran out of time and yardage. And the Dallas Cowboys fall short to the Atlanta Falcons 37-35.
Why did you know that it would somehow be Danny White to Tony Hill? They've worked magic so many times before. Why not now? Danny White, if he's hurt, he's not showing it, and Tony Hill almost does it. Dick, what an ending.
And from here, it looked like he could do it. He was stepped out of bounds right there. The clock ran out. So the final score, the Falcons 37, the Cowboys 35. For Dan Deerdorf, Dick Stockton saying so long. Coming up, it'll be the New York Giants and the Los Angeles Raiders. And tears today for the Dallas Cowboys and their fans. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage.